Good evening, you all. Hey. Okay, so just released the full body cam footage. Viewer discretion is advised. If you feel like you're going to get upset, triggered, anxiety, stressed out, I have not watched all of this body cam footage, but I'm just going to advise you, this is a very, very touchy subject. I'm literally shaking right now because I'm nervous. I don't get that way very often. It seems like some things just get on you a little worse than others. So I've got about 40 people in here. So I'm not going to look at the chat that much, okay? But let's go ahead and let's play this and let's see what's going on. I'm glad they released this. Now, some of it is redacted. However, it's about 20 some minutes long. So it is a lot longer than what else has been released versus like the 2 minute. So let's go ahead. Hi, everybody in the chat. All right. All right, let me get my other screen up. I want to make sure that you all can hear before I start this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start and let me know if you can hear this, okay? Just type a 1 in the chat, please. Code 4. Now, the audio does cut in and out, okay? All right, what's your name? Thanks, guys. Yeah, I am not muting it. They mute it. And there we go on the buffer. We're probably going to experience that just a tad bit, okay? Now, he is across the street. Let me do this real quick. I'm just going to pause it, and I am going to let it buffer just a little bit on its own so that, we don't have any buffering while we're trying to watch. So just bear with me, guys. I can see the chat. All right, let's try it now. See how it keeps buffering? That's not me. It's not my internet either. So we're just going to have to deal with it. And it could be buffering on their end. So. Here's what I'm going to back it up just a little bit. That way it's already buffered. So let me just back this up. And then that way we shouldn't have any more buffering. All right, there we go. It's going to make a liar out of me. All right. Here we go. They've redacted a lot out of this. See, he's already across the street. I heard the crime was a potential $20 bill forgery. It was a check at the bank passing a fake $20 bill. That's what I heard too. I also heard possible under the influence. I'm not sure what police officer this is. And I'm not sure if it switches because it is almost 20 minutes long. Hey, Ginger Lock's mom. In my opinion, you all, I think the bad stuff already happened. So technically, this is not the full. This is what they've released. I'm sure that they'll probably release the full like before and then after. So I don't think it would be too bad if y'all want to go ahead and watch. I could be wrong.
If you watch that car, just make sure there's no holes in it. Okay. I don't want you guys grabbing anything from the car, okay? Leave the car alone.
This is actual body cam footage from the park police, not Minneapolis PD. So that's probably why we have it.
Did you guys take out the car? Cigarettes? You got your personal items? Whose car is this?
Just the park cop. Okay. If you have a link, one of the moderators, if you can find the other, you can post it in the chat. I'll go ahead and click on it, or I'll go ahead and search after this is through. We'll just search together because we really need to see this. If the park police has released it, more than likely Minneapolis has released it. Let's just cross our fingers. This has just been within the last hour that it was released here. So I appreciate that, LAM. Like I said, I just clicked on it for a second and went live because it was just released within the last hour. Dare to be different? I can only imagine. I worked at a bank for 6 years.
Okay, just stay put, all right? I don't want anybody near his car.
Yeah, the police did the blackouts, the redaction. Yes.
Did you guys give my partners their names or not?
Thanks, Mom.
Okay. Did he write it down? Okay, stay put, all right? Let's see what my partner does. We'll see what happens. All right, you guys just stay put. Tell my partners to come back here.
Lucy's World, I don't see it anywhere. No, I'm wanting body cam footage. I don't want the actual cell phone footage. No, I want body cam footage. That's what I'm wanting. I don't care to show the citizens footage. I would like to get the policeman that was standing in front of the citizens. I would like to get his, because I would like to hear his conversation between him and the other officers.
Why don't I see ID again?
Not both cops, all four of them. Think about this, guys. Okay? It was intent. Just because it's his knee. Okay? And I'm not arguing with you all, but I'm just trying to make a point here. Just because it was his knee. There was
Let's stay
intent.
further back.
Right? What if it was his hands? Wouldn't that be considered intent?
What's her name?
Because he constantly kept pressing harder and harder. He asked him, "What do you want, man?" He said, "I can't breathe." He also ended up urinating before he passed away. He also called for his mama. Okay, L. L, do you have Twitter? Hold on just a second. I can probably do something real quick. No, can't. Oh, hold on just a second. Maybe I can do it in my phone. Aaron, do you want to put the link in the chat? Yeah, I've seen that. The 2-minute one, I've seen that. It doesn't really show much, though. It does show him falling down. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. Thanks, Al. The 2-minute body cam footage, or I'm sorry, security cam footage that was released shows him falling. But pay attention to this, guys. It does show him falling. However, he's on the sidewalk. When the police are on top of him, he's on the street. So the video actually shows the opposite of where he ended up. So I would really like to find the footage showing from the time that he fell.
How do you not know him when he said he's with you?
To the time that he got to the opposite side of the car into the street.
Okay. Just stay put there.
Because that seems to be some missing footage. He fell as they were stepping onto the street right in front of the car. And then of course, he ends up on the other side of the car into the street. Okay.
Okay, sure.
And the neighbors would decide to mow their grass while I'm live streaming. I don't see that as body cam footage, Lucy's World. I see the police talking. And it's not a video.
Then after all this is settled, you guys good to walk. Gotta talk to my partner and see what's up.
Check your Twitter, Lucy's World.
212 as the closest available if you 313 Washington Street Northeast. There's a black male close to you.
My question is, how is the park police there knowing to film? I mean, is that their typical jurisdiction? Because it looks like city limits. Just curious.
Stay put, guys.
Crying and the suspect has a gun.
This is obviously after, because across the street there was a large crowd of people. I don't see that crowd of people anymore. No, there have not been any charges filed. I believe Trump said tomorrow.
330
I do know that the FBI is working on it. Yes, they sure are. They are burning down the city. It's not as bad as it was, but earlier today, they were burning down the city.
Let's stay put here. All right, tell my partners and them done over there, and they can figure things out. We'll figure things out, all right? Right now, we're grabbing an ambulance for your buddy.
Wow. I'm checking my DMs on Twitter.
Where's his phone? Car, okay? Nope, I don't want you reaching a car, okay? Car is not going anywhere.
Because he is park police. He does not. It must be out of jurisdiction. That's why he cannot reach into the car. That's my guess.
Don't go into the car. I don't want you guys going to the car. That's it. Well, once my partners come over here, you guys can ask, right?
Me too, Amber K. Me too. Who said he wasn't of value? Mods, nothing like that in the chat is allowed.
Let's go straight, man.
Nothing.
It's tight here. You guys good? Oh. I don't know. I'm just waiting for 312.
Yeah, I think if most of us were there, we would have intervened. You know, when the mayor said, he got up there and he said, you know, there should have been help. Was he talking to the other cops or was he talking to the citizens? Because there's a fine line there, you know. I mean, the citizens are the ones that called 911. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do some searching here. If you all find anything, mods, please put it in the chat. Let's go ahead and let's look. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. You all just chat amongst yourselves. Okay, there's new surveillance video. Shows events leading up to. I'll go ahead and have that open. Let's open that in a new tab. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, new police body cam video released an hour ago. That's what we just watched. Okay, so it looks like they've released the body cam footage of the arrest. I'm going to pull this up real quick before I share it. This is unredacted. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on this one. This is a news broadcast, but we'll go ahead and look at it. It's only 2 minutes long.
Investigators say the Memorial Day encounter started with a call about a customer.
Arrests have been fired from the.
Yeah, we all know.
In the deadly arrests have been fired from the police department, but have not been charged with a crime.
Investigators say the Memorial Day encounter started with a call
I'm
about
not
a customer
sharing my
trying
screen.
to pass a counterfeit bill at a South Minneapolis market. New tonight, WCCO's Aaron Hassansada explains what just released body camera video shows.
Why is the man who killed George Floyd not in jail?
Well, the Minneapolis mayor calls for an arrest.
The officer who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd should be charged.
Investigators are reviewing the events leading up to George Floyd's death. Some shown in this video of police getting Floyd out of his SUV. The video ends before he's moved. This surveillance angle shows Floyd being seated on the ground.
All right, what's your name?
A new Park Police body camera video shows one of the fired officers questioning Floyd. This vantage point shows that at one point, all 4 officers worked together. The attorney representing the Floyd family called for each to be charged. New documents show when paramedics started working on Floyd in the ambulance, he was already unresponsive and pulseless. Medics tried to revive Floyd at the hospital with a shock monitor, but could not.
I was glad to see the Minneapolis Police Department took quick action and removed the officers involved from their positions. But this is not the end of the story as we seek justice for George Floyd.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office says it is working with the BCA and medical examiner to gather and review all evidence. Other state officials promise a swift, fair investigation.
I can also assure you that if we do see any evidence of a lack of fairness, that we'll raise those issues.
Some community leaders highlight that history was made in the officer firings themselves, but for many, justice means prosecution.
I want to make it clear to the community. All of us here want justice. We want them found guilty.
Erin Hassanzadeh, WCCO4 News.
We reached out to the union representing the officers. Union leaders have asked the public not to jump to conclusions, but have not commented further at this time.
There's something I want to show you all. Oh, hold on. Just trying to play new videos. Okay. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, check this out. This is regarding the officer that had the knee shoved into Mr. Floyd's neck. This is not his first unarmed black man that he has killed. He's literally been doing it since 2006. Still allowed to carry a firearm and a badge. Wow, wow, wow. Let's pull this up. Derek Chauvin should have never had the opportunity to kill George Floyd. Chauvin used his badge as a shield to terrorize minority community for years. He should have been stopped in 2006 when he and 6 other officers fired 42 rounds, killing Wayne Reyes. He should have been stopped when he shot an unarmed black man, Ira Tolles, in 2011. But yet, Chauvin continued to be paid by taxpayers until he got the opportunity to calmly murder a black man in broad daylight. America has allowed white sociopaths like Chauvin to legally terrorize black communities without repercussions for too long. Hashtag George Floyd. Hashtag George Floyd justice. Okay? Terrorist cop who killed George Floyd had a history of violence against minorities. And I will say that the senator made a statement. She said that, or no, it was the congressman. She said that there's been 12 black male killings. There's been very, very little justice. Okay? Now, there was a white woman that was shot. There was justice for her. This has got to stop. I mean, no wonder why some people act the way they do. And, you know, I heard somebody was broadcasting, I believe it was Cece and Coffee was broadcasting this morning. She actually said that that actual police department is so corrupt that they had in evidence box, okay, rape kits that were untested dating all the way back from the 80s. And guess what? There was just a posting on this past Friday about rape kits in Minnesota with that police department. Just thrown in a box, never sent out for test. Now, my whole thing is, typically with those type of kits, they're not given straight to police, okay? The hospital actually, I don't know how they do it now, or how they did it then, but the hospital is actually in charge. And then they have a police administrator within the department work with the hospital. Oh yeah, they're all over the U.S., but I find it really odd that they were at that actual police department, and a statement was just made on Friday. Okay? Something is wrong here. Let's see if we can find that. Something in November of 2019, February 4th, 2020. It was more recent than that. Let me go to tools. After this, right? I'm going to do past month instead of past week. And then that way it won't be bombarded. Okay. Do we know what police department that was? Anybody? As of May 21st, 2020, this is California. A state audit of untested rape kits released in Oakland, California. 1,200, nearly 1,200 kits that were untested from the Oakland Police Department. There was no compassion. I don't care if he was following rules of somebody else. I did actually hear that, and I don't know the validity of this, but rumor has it that that police officer was part of Antifa. So you know what that means, right? Hennepin County, thank you. If it does end up coming out to be Antifa or part of it, this is a political false flag that more than likely was planned in advance. I'm just saying, they need some type of distraction. They need some kind of corruption. And they knew the people would react. Correct, Jason. They do as told. Leftist agitators, by any means necessary, is their creed. Yes. Yeah, Minneapolis Police Department. I've got it. May 5th. New charges have been filed against a Ham Lake man accused of committing a series of rapes in Minneapolis dating back to 2013. That's good. The mayor of Minneapolis says officer seen putting knee on man's back should be charged. Trump made a statement earlier, and I'm also going to play what his press secretary has said about an hour ago. I'm glad something's going to be done because this is absolutely uncalled for. I don't even think there is a word for this. And, you know, I kind of felt like maybe this was in a way planned because of how persistent he was. It didn't matter what anybody said. Both of those cops that I could see, I know there were 4, but the 2 cops that I seen couldn't give 2 cents about that man. Could not give 2 cents. Come on, Diesel. Let's be nice. Okay, I'm all for freedom of speech, but let's be nice, man. If you're going to come in here trolling, you can, you know, just leave. Because I really would hate to ban you and time you out. I'm not all about that. All right, so let's go back to the body cam. And let's see what we can find here. I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen, and then that way I'm still sharing Twitter, ain't I? Okay. Go ahead and hit share audio. Just in case we do find something. Oops. Oops. Okay, much better. Move the chat over here. All right, let's do this. What's this? 258. Let's see what this is. They're actually live right now.
Public's help in keeping the peace.
And Jeff Begaze joins me now from Minneapolis. Hi, Jeff. The body cam video from one of the officers was released this morning. What do we know about it, and how is it going to play a role in the investigation?
Well, it's a big part of the investigation, Tanya. We've seen several pieces of video, some cell phone video, some security camera video from the area come out. Now, this body camera video is obviously something that the officers were wearing at the time of the incident. And so what investigators might be able to hear is the audio. You know, what was being said at the time. Was Floyd resisting? Is that why police took some of the actions that they took? Obviously not the actions that Officer Chauvin took, who had his knee pressed against Floyd's neck. And so this body camera video will be important as far as the overall investigation and enlightening prosecutors as to the mindset of the officers at the time. But Tanya, I want to focus on what's happening here behind me. I've never seen anything like this. I've covered a lot of these stories, but what you see here behind me are people in broad daylight looting. In this Target store, you have people climbing through this window over here, coming out with all sorts of merchandise. And, you know, it's not just people who live in this neighborhood. We're seeing cars pull up, cars with trailers pull up and loading up and then taking off. I stopped one woman who was coming from that store with her 2 kids, and they were carrying dog food. I said, you know that's looting. And she said, well, what's that? And I said, well, that's stealing. And she said, oh, and just kind of kept on going. Her kids put the dog food in the back of the car and they took off. And so this is an unusual scene here, and it comes on the heels of what happened overnight. Let me point over here, because you see the smoldering remains of what was low-income housing that was being built in this neighborhood, but it has been destroyed as well. That will obviously set construction back. And then this building next door, it was torched too. So there is still a lot at the scene, and what we don't see at this point are police. And there's a reason why. They don't want any more confrontations, and so they're on the perimeter of all this, clearly monitoring the situation to make sure that things don't spark up again. but you don't see any police on the scene here. Over there, you have firefighters. They're working to keep the flames down to make sure that this doesn't spread. But it is still very much, Tanya, a combustible situation here at the scene.
Jeff, what an extraordinary scene. Thank you so much for telling us about what's going on there in Minneapolis. Thanks so much for that report.
All right, that's something we've seen. Let's look at this. All right, we have already seen this, it looks like. Now they are clipping some different clips, so I'm just going to skim through here. Fast forward it a little bit. Wow, it's not really letting me. Okay, here we go. Weird. Yeah, this is the same thing that we seen earlier. All right, let's see what this is. George Floyd body cam shows cops telling his friends we're grabbing an ambulance as he lay dying on the floor. So that is as he was laying there. But yet you couldn't really see anything. Let's look at these pictures. Oh, that's awful. Bless his heart. Minneapolis Park Police. Minneapolis Park Police. I don't want the park police. Heavily redacted. Police chief states he's absolutely sorry over George Floyd's death 17 minutes ago. Okay, this says Minneapolis Police Department. Ugh. And basically just shows the same thing that we've already seen. This was 43 minutes ago. That's Reddit. I'm not going to pull that up. You know what? Let's go to the actual Minneapolis Police Department. And if I have to put in a request, I will. But technically, whenever you do put in a request, if there is an investigation, they will not release it yet. If you ever go to a government website and you're using a VPN, you might want to turn it off. Just saying. Okay, so this is their look: to protect with courage, to serve with compassion. Isn't that ironic? There's part of their mission statement, you all. To protect with courage, to serve with compassion. Wow. I bet they'll be changing that real quick. You can go ahead and get a screenshot of that. Crime maps and dashboard pages for a complete list of data. Interactive view of crime locations. Crime statistics. Force statistics. Let's do a search real quick. Looks like I'm going to go ahead and do a request. I'll do that after the live stream, and then I'll give you all an update, okay? All right, let's see what this is. All right, that's what I just played a minute ago. Did you all see the actual governor's statement? I can play that. Agree. District Attorney Mike Freeman. Are y'all kidding me? There's no sound. Okay. This is what happened last time whenever I tried to do the window sharing. Really odd. StreamYard doesn't like me. All right. I'm just going to do a quick search real quick. That was just the mayor talking. That was footage from yesterday, I believe. They said it was live, but it's not live. The Minneapolis Park Police Department has released new body cam footage from the day he was detained by an officer. My guess is this is the exact same one. Let me look real quick. Yeah, that's looking like the exact same one that we've already seen. This is 3 minutes, 19 seconds. Let me just skim over it real quick. Okay. I mean, this is going to continuously update by the minute. Then again, the police department chief says again he's absolutely sorry. Let's see if there's any footage of this. Okay, so the Cup Foods co-owner, Mohammed Abamia, describes the moments that led to one of his employees calling the police. Okay, all right, I'm going to play this because this is the reason the police were called on George. Okay, now, I'm just going to have to share tabs because it's not wanting to work. Let's see if this works. All right, I'm going to try this. See if y'all put a 1 in the chat if you can hear this. Could y'all hear that? Hey, Crime Canary. All right. No. Okay. See, that's what happens. Stop sharing. Every time I try to do the window, which is the easiest, it doesn't want to share the audio, even though I click it. It's not wanting to work. Now, it used to be really good, so I'm going to have to put in a report to StreamYard. All right, check this out. So what this is the owner of the store right in front of where he was, the Cup Foods co-owner. He describes the moments that led to one of his employees calling the police on Mr. Floyd for alleged fraud. He states he saw no sign of Floyd resisting arrest in the shop surveillance videos. Let's see what he has to say.
So I'm joined now by Mahmoud Abu Mayali, who goes by Mike, and he owns Cup Foods with his 3 brothers, and Jamar Nelson, who runs their media relations. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, Mike,
you can hear that, right?
What was happening there? These pictures of what's going on in this area. It's a terrible scene to watch. This whole tragic incident began after a staff member confronted George Floyd when he tried to use a counterfeit $20 bill. Can you give us more details about what happened?
No, you cannot. Are you kidding me?
Staff
You can't hear that? Okay, thanks.
Identified the $20 bill was fake.
Counterfeit $20 bill. Can you give us more details about what happened?
After one of our staff identified the $20 bill was fake, Floyd was actually out of the establishment and outside. My staff called the police, doing a practice protocol. And when the police arrived, Floyd was still outside. And that's when they approached him.
So, and I want to make sure we get all of this correct. A family member later witnessed a police officer kneeling on Floyd's neck, tried to intervene. Tell us about what he saw.
He approached one of the officers, asking him to take his knee off his neck because he cannot breathe. He pushed him over the curb and pushed him again past the curb, as it shows on the video.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, new video is out today. It appears to show Floyd didn't resist, and at least the video that we have seen. We're waiting now, the body cam video. It has been released. We're seeing it and reviewing it now. But from the video that we saw, this surveillance video, didn't resist arrest, as the police described. You say that you have been asked by investigators not to release your surveillance video publicly, but have you been able to look at this surveillance video?
I did view it on Tuesday after the death of Floyd.
And
what I seen was devastating. It was very heartbreaking, and our condolences go to the family and friends of George Floyd.
Did you see resistance?
No.
On the videotape that you have, your surveillance video, you see no resistance from George Floyd.
Our camera angle shows exactly what was recorded as the outside bystander. What I seen was exactly what you seen.
You say there's been a backlash and threats against your family and the store. What do you want to say to people who are angry right now and they are lashing out? As I said, I understand the anger. I don't understand the actions of looting and destroying property. What do you want to say to people who are lashing out?
Although we have a village of supporters behind us, people that have known us for the 31 years that we've been there for, there's a small percentage of people that are angry and want answers, and we understand that. But let's take that anger towards the people that took the action against the individual that was, and let's take that anger and use it towards bridging and fixing the problem in our system that is causing minorities in this country to get killed, and now nothing is being done about it, and justice is not being served.
Interesting. Yeah, a man dead over $20. Sad. This has got me so upset, you all. I don't have to tell you. It's just, wow. "13 minutes ago, Minneapolis Park. 25 minutes ago." That's the one I just played. I guess this is the same footage that they're talking about. Surveillance video does not support police claims that he was resisting. Floyd was declared dead at a nearby hospital a short time later. Did you all get a chance to see the EMT walk up, check his pulse, and then walk away? It's not like he was even rushing. He was just simply walking. And then it's like they didn't even try to get him on the stretcher fast. They didn't automatically have the oxygen or anything like that. They said that they tried CPR on him. I'd like to see where CPR was started in that parking lot because I did not see any CPR being set up. Something's not adding up with this. Something definitely is not adding up with this. If you all pay attention, each year that there's an election, you will actually see crime rates go up tremendously. Okay? A lot of this stuff is political, whether we want to accept it or not. It's sad but true. This is 2 minutes ago. We've got Minneapolis Park. That's not what I want. Maybe if let's do this. Let's see. Park. 10 minutes ago. Gotta love it. Looky here, there's already a Wikipedia. Hold on just a second. Okay, so MPD. He was only 46. Okay. Huh. All right, check this out. 29 minutes ago. I don't know if I'm going to click on this. I've never seen this website before. I don't know if you all have paid attention, but there is a lot of spam sites popping up on Google right now. This says the department released 45 minutes of 911 calls and body camera footage. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's a bad site. Told you. If you haven't ever seen it before, don't click on it. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so at 3 p.m. Minnesota time, federal state law enforcement officials to make statement about George Floyd death. Investigation at 3. What time is it in Minnesota right now? Do you all know? They 2 or 3 hours. I think they're 2. 2 hours. Antifa. It's like the opposite of Black Lives Matter. Protesters that like to really cause trouble. Very bad group of people. Very, very bad. It's 3:12. Okay. Let's go ahead and click on this. Okay, good. They haven't started yet.
No way to do it. Check. Check.
Check, 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 check.
Can you all hear that okay?
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
You should be able to hear it better since I turned my fan off.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check.
Thanks, Melissa.
This one. Matt, you don't want this one?
Look at that wind. Yeah, look at that. That is crazy. Yeah, check out the video I posted earlier, Melissa, on that whole mask deal. I guess we will see, right? Oh, something will be done. For the simple fact is they want to keep their town and their city together all in one piece, which it's not all in one piece right now. But if they want it to stay where it's at right now, there will be charges. I mean, when they get the FBI involved, and the good thing about the FBI is they look at everything, even political movements, okay? They look at everything. And from what I've gathered, Trump has basically rebuilt the FBI from the ground up. You got Comey out of there. Thank goodness. He was as corrupt as they come. Yeah, that city will burn down completely if they don't do something. And what you've already got the governor, the senator, Congress, the president.
On channel 2 also, because their mic's here a little windy, so I'm going to have another one going here and see which one you hear better.
Saying that there needs to be charges, you best believe there's going to be something done. Now, with the FBI getting involved, that's what you want. Okay. In my honest opinion, I think all 4 officers need to be charged. You know, you've got such thing as basically an accomplice, right? All right, so let's put it this way. Say there's an armed robbery. You got 4 people, right? There's a murder that happens. Technically, usually you have 1 shooter. So there's 1 shooter and 3 other people. Typically, all 4 people are charged. Yeah, there's no sound right now. They're not talking. Can you hear me? All right. I don't know why you said there was no sound, Lucy. They haven't started yet. Thanks, Aaron. I'm going to mute real quick. Let me know if you all can still hear the audio, the wind blowing in the mic, okay? Yep. Blonde PT says exactly the example I gave K Smalls. Same thing to me. All should be charged, especially since any one of them could have intervened. And that's exactly what the mayor said. The mayor said that somebody should have helped. Now, was he talking to the other policemen or was he talking to the public? And you know what? I think that's something that needs to be addressed. They really need to address what are our rights as citizens. You know, we have the Second Amendment, not only to bear arms, but to protect ourselves against a tyrannical government. So when we see tyranny going on, even if it doesn't involve us, are we as American citizens supposed to intervene when we see tyranny going on against another individual? That needs to, I would have to. I would have went and kicked the smack out of that guy with my foot off of him. That is something that needs to be addressed, though. There are so many people that are scared of police. We should not be scared of police. They work for us. They took an oath to the Constitution to protect and serve us. Not themselves, us. Well, yeah, I mean, technically they should protect themselves because they have that right as well. This man was on the ground, handcuffed on his belly, with 2 knees on him. Like I said, what does it matter if it's a knee or both of his hands? There was intent there. If it was both of his hands around his neck and he died, that was intent. It's the same damn thing. Knee, hand, regardless, there is intent. Exactly, Melissa. You best believe there's need for cussing in here, Aaron, because of this, what's going on. And Aaron, if you have a problem with it, you can go ahead and leave the stream right now. I will not be suppressed in my house on my channel. I'm very upset over this case. I don't need somebody coming in here and telling me what to say and what not to say. You don't like it, you can get out. I think I have a pretty good reason to be upset right now. And if you can't look past that, then there's something wrong. Well, you know what, Steph? Anybody that would have intervened, I'm glad, that anybody that would have intervened, I'm sure would have not been afraid of a bullet to save another life. You know, that's an automatic ticket to heaven when you give your life for somebody else. No, I didn't see that. Well, my apologies, Aaron, but it did seem like you were talking to me. No, there's no call for any of this to be going on whatsoever. And I apologize for getting a little irate, but I'm a little triggered at the moment. I think it's a reasonable cause to be triggered. Everything is political. Okay, Aaron, my apologies. I'm sorry. I thought they were supposed to start at 3. I hear you, Melissa. I don't drink, but yeah, I hear you. All right, I'm going to mute. I'll be right back. You all can still hear, though, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm officially out of coffee. That is not good in this house. We're supposed to be going out here in a little while. Oh, y'all are talking about Vegas. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jay. Oh my gosh. Do you still. Thanks, Aaron. I'm so sorry, Aaron. You know I've never done that to you, honey. I'm sorry. This is really upset. And this is really upsetting. And I told my daughter about it earlier, and she just got really, really teary eyed. Ooh. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Mama. Jay, are you still able to talk to her? I know she has PTSD, but I would really like for you to ask her a question for me. If you could send me a message on Twitter, that would be great. It's at @K_Z. And my link's also in the description. The video is on Now This News at 5 o'clock minute mark, showing him pull mace when someone tried to approach. Okay, Blonde PT. I love you too, Aaron. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm going to feel bad about that for weeks, probably months, because you know me. Aaron, you've been here a long time. I'm so sorry. If anybody can vouch for me, it's Lucy's World and Aaron. I don't ever do that. And just it's hard for me to really be mean. But something like this, I think it's easy for any of us to get upset and to act out of our element. Yeah. Especially when you're an empath too. It's like you can feel okay, and then if somebody walks in the room, if they're depressed or if they're in pain, you automatically feel everything that they are feeling. And that's how I am. I can be doing research and I can see somebody getting hurt and I literally feel it. Like my whole back was hurting earlier because I was researching something. And I was just like, wow. I mean, this is just, as I get older, it seems like it gets worse. I know, Aaron. I deserve it. I'm sorry. I'll try to edit that part out, Aaron. Oh, speaking of editing, let me do something real quick. Hey, Mavis, how are you? We're just waiting. For those of you that are just joining us, we are waiting for the FBI to speak on the investigation. Okay. So, we shall see. Echo, echo, echo. Thanks, Blonde PT. Appreciate that. It, I th-
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
That sounds awful.
1 2 3 4 5 1 2
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay. They're going to be doing this one, so and I don't know if they're going to have notes. If I put it that way, is that all right?
Okay. They're actually in St. Paul is where they're at right now. Somebody should have intervened and they didn't. Somebody did try to intervene, though. At least we can say that much. Do I have another contact way? Yeah, you can email me at it's under my about section. It's ksmalls with the number 4 truth@yahoo.com. Yeah, they said that somebody tried to walk up to the police and that's when he grabbed his mace. And then the Oriental looking cop stopped that woman. The one that was recording with her cell phone is the one that tried to intervene. And then, the other people that were standing around that were speaking and saying, hey, get off of him. Check his pulse. What are you doing, man? No telling. I don't know how many people were standing there, but it seemed like a pretty good amount when the camera spun over. He did. He had evilness in his eyes. He had not a care in the world. It's like, you've done this before, huh? Like he enjoyed it. And at one point, actually not there, I think there was 3 times that I noticed him pushing harder and harder where he repositioned his knee. 3 separate times. I'm not trying to sponsor Gatorade or anything, but if you all have not tried it, you need to. Gatorade Glacier Cherry flavor. It's amazing. I'm like addicted to it. And they have a 0 sugar, so it doesn't affect my blood sugar whatsoever, and it still tastes good. And you're getting electrolytes too, so very, very good. The berry flavor is actually really good as well. Hey, Black Rose, how are you? So they just did a mic check. For those of you that are just popping in, the FBI is actually going to speak at a press conference on the investigation that is getting ready to happen as far as the crime scene where I believe there was intent and murder involved. That's my own opinion. I also, in my own opinion, I really do think this is a political This is a political false flag. And those of you that are not aware, people still die in false flags. The actual definition for a false flag used to state government. It still does, but it's more at the bottom. So if you go and you look, it's basically a false flag is something that the government uses for a political agenda. Okay, whether it be war, whether they're lying, whether it's true, whether people die or not, they really don't care. And I'm not talking, there's a good and a bad side to everything. Okay, I'm not talking about the good side. I'm talking about the bad side. So, but you know what? It seems like a lot of the other side has come and are seeing the light. So, I know y'all don't like to hear that kind of stuff, but the truth hurts. So, it's my job to help wake people up. My job. Sounds like they're getting near the mic. Either that or the wind is getting more fierce. Let's see what they're doing. I think it's just the wind. That's crazy. No, it wasn't. Never understood why they said things will never be the same. It's starting to make sense now. Yeah. Tim, you got my back. It was murder, Aaron. Yes. I do believe there was intent. None of it makes sense. Especially, isn't it the police's duty to call the ambulance? But no, you had the public, the people that were sitting there watching this man die in front of their face call 911. And it just so happened there was an ambulance ready down the road. Did you all see that? That ambulance was waiting up the road and then came. It's almost like the ambulance waited until he was dead to show up. Then when the ambulance got there, they checked his pulse for 2 seconds and then walked away. And then, I'm sorry, but I didn't see any CPR going on. Now, whatever they did in that ambulance once the doors were shut, I'm not sure. But I don't think that they even tried reviving him. Does anybody know that, know if he had any family, like a wife or children or anything? He was only 46 years old. He was still very, very young. He was a man of God. There's actually, on his YouTube channel, he had put out a video recently. It's weird how things work out, because it's almost like he knew something was going to go down. I'm not saying he did, but he did speak of God in reference to God. And he did speak of the drug problem that's going on. I believe he was speaking about another case that was going on. I don't know why they don't go on the side of the building where the wind is not, surely to goodness they've got like a breezeway or something, like right in front of the doors where the wind would be blocked instead of right there out in the grass. He had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend, and she said that he wanted all his friends to come there because he felt like you could actually have a second chance there. Oh, no. 2 kids. Oh, my gosh. 2 kids that actually probably seen
How's that sound?
the footage.
All right, try it out. Test 1, 2. All right.
I changed to our.
No, this is not the one. We're just testing the new microphone. Does that sound better? Does everybody say that sounds better? All right. Test 1, 2. Test. Is that better? Test 1, 2. Test. All right. Let's see if we
Does anybody know how old his children were?
Is it buzzing? Is it probably the wireless one?
So he's from Texas.
Test 1, 2.
Wow.
Can we move the wireless mic over here? Test 1, 2. Is that clean? That sounds good? Okay. Okay.
He needs to move it back where it was. Now you can hear the wind. Okay, so it looks like the FBI is getting ready to speak to the press.
Esme, that's much better. Where did she go? Yeah.
Usually when it's a police department that's involved, the FBI has to automatically get involved because the police department itself cannot be involved because there's a conflict of interest, surely, within the department. So it's it's better for the FBI to get involved all the way around. Plus, there's no bias. The FBI, now sometimes they have local branches or they call in outside FBI branches to step in. So, not sure who, but this was pretty quick. They're jumping on this investigation pretty quick. Look at the mask hanging off his face and others not wearing any, right? You guys better know I love you because I'm really getting hot without the fan on. I can't help it that it's not playing, I'm losing, numbers are dropping very quickly. But, I really do think this is going to be worth watching and listening to. Hopefully it's not like 2 minutes and then they're done. I hate when they do that. When they get everybody prepared for a press conference and then it's like 2 minutes, no information given, and they say, okay, we'll take questions. And no, we can't go into detail about that. No, we can't go into detail about that. It's like, why even bother? You're welcome, my Four Seasons. How are you doing, honey? How's your garden going? Your flowers and your seeds. You be proud of me. My strawberries are looking amazing. Every other day I get about 6 strawberries off of the one plant. Then I planted 5 more. And then when I got home, I noticed there was a sprout from my first plant. So I actually have 7 plants right now in the same strawberry box. No, I'm fine. I'm not that hot. Stop it. I'm good. Well, my husband built me a strawberry box. It's actually really neat. That's the hard part about strawberries is keeping the birds away. So what he did is he built me this box. It's about 5 foot wide and 2.5 feet. No, it's about 5 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. And then at the top of it, he put chicken wire so that they can't get in. and he's supposed to be putting some hinges on there so that it stays up. How many dirty hands have opened that door? Wonder why they don't use the automatic handicap method. I don't know. You would think that they would be pressing that button, at least, using the side of their body to press it, right? But guess what? The CDC said that it cannot transfer on hard surfaces, even doorknobs. So it really doesn't matter. How many schools are wondering, well, we should have stayed open, right? Watch my video from earlier on COVID. You'll see. Trigger warning, guys. Especially on that case study that I did, that I reviewed. That case study is very, very telling, you all. Actually, the first case study, they removed the link and they redid it, and they actually had to put a disposition up. It was really weird because the first link had been removed. I found the archived link. That's why the video is kind of short, because it was a whole lot longer. I just edited a bunch out. But yeah, the first case study actually stated that for it to be contagious, from what they found, is you would have to drink a lot of person's saliva a lot, or get a lot of their blood on you a lot, to be able to transfer it from a carrier, a positive carrier. And then I also heard as well that coughing and sneezing doesn't even transfer it. So who knows anymore, you guys? I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, right? Yes, I did see that, Lucy's World. I did see that. Dr. Fraudy. That's what I call him. The masks do you no good, he says. Don't worry about it. People were mad because they were ordering masks. I had a friend of mine order some masks, and he was so mad when he received them because they actually came from China. Gallons, Tim. Gallons. He's like, if I would have known they came from China, you think I would have ordered these? Heck no. I'm like, well, what do you do? Return them? You know? What are they going to do when it gets really, really hot and people are working and, these masks take 60% of your oxygen? So, I mean, people are going to be stroking out. It's going to be bad. Ooh. He just asked her if she was married. My Four Seasons, yeah. I would definitely watch my uploads, especially the first one on all this. It's the date on it's February 21st. That's when I started on this whole pandemic. Fauci is always changing his tune and his mind. I mean, he was the first to even say something about this back in 2017 before, well, no, Bill Gates talked about it in 2015, 2017. Fauci talked about it in 2017 as well. They just knew that the next pandemic would be within Trump's presidency, no doubt, Fauci says. No doubt. It'll be during Trump's presidency. Are you freaking kidding me? And, I haven't went live and talked about this at all, you guys. I have so much stuff bottled up inside that I should just promote a whole live stream to what I think. I might do that. Now, that might be a possible member only stream. So if you want to hit the join button, I always give back my earnings. So I do giveaways. So I love to give back. So if you want to hit the join button, join. I'm going to start doing, I figured out how to do private live streams on here. So it's actually very tricky, but I figured it out. So we can have our own little private streams, and you have to be a member to watch. What he say? Oh, wow, he's talking. His mic's not working.
And we understand and we beg your patience here. Hopefully we can come down here in just a few more minutes.
There we
as,
go.
We try to continue working through the current environment that we're in. So our folks are upstairs getting ready to come down. I know you've been here for an hour, and I'm sorry about that, but I can tell you that we'll be down here the next 15 minutes to a half hour with more information for you. But I just wanted to come down here and let you know that we haven't forgotten about you, and we'll be down here shortly, okay? Great, thank you, yes. Yeah, I'll come down, I'll come down first, Esme, and then before they come out, and then I'll give you 2 minutes to get the anchor off, okay? Yes. Thank you, everybody.
So within 15 to 30 minutes, he'll be back. So you all are stuck with me, haha, until then. So, you don't love me, Melissa? I can't help it, honey. Y'all are stuck with me until then. You know, sorry. I've been sitting here without a fan on, burning up, talking to you guys because I love you. That's what he said, 15 to 30 minutes. What are they doing? Are they turning it off and turning it back on? Well, let's find something else to watch. I'll leave this tab up. That way we can hear it when the audio comes on. But I'm going to look for other stuff too. I can hear it on my end, even if you all can't. So like if I stop the screen sharing and have to share something else, I'll still be able to hear it. Let's see if there's any more body cam footage released. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to tell you all. If y'all haven't seen my bird video, you should go watch it. So I have a mockingbird, and I've learned so much about
it. It's a bit rough after chanting in the streets on Tuesday, Wednesday, and today. So you'll have to bear with me.
What?
I'm going to tell you how to say the chant. You're going to have to repeat after me.
Wow.
So indict, convict, send them killer cops to jail. You'll say the whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail.
Hello.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
That's their audio, not mine. Turn it down.
The whole damn system
Surely to goodness they're going to say something else.
I'm gonna do another one that goes, hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom.
Okay, guys, I'm going to turn this audio off.
Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them.
Just a second.
Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist cops, we don't need them, need them.
Shoo. Whew, goodness gracious. All right. So, just a second. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to turn that fan back on. All right, looks like Minnesota Police Department has released the incident report. Interesting, blonde PT. Interesting. Find it. Here we go. All right. Minneapolis Federal. No. What's MFD? It's supposed to be MPD. Anyways, they released the incident report and George Floyd's fatal arrest. This was just released. Look at this. They can't even get this right. Actually, no, this is probably right. Okay, so I worked for a fire department. Yeah, I worked for a fire department for a little while. Anytime there's an incident, anytime there's a wreck, something like that, the fire department is required to show up. Not all the time. Sometimes they don't, but usually they do. And when they do show up, they have to do it. It's called a INFERS report. Okay, it goes into the system. This says the MFD, the Minneapolis Fire Department, has released an incident report on Wednesday about what occurred during the incident of George Floyd's fatal arrest. According to the fire department's report, while en route, was given the pre-arrival information that stated that Floyd had trauma to his mouth. Wow. Okay. Once they fully arrived at the scene of Cup Foods, there were multiple squad police cars and a small crowd of people. The report goes on to say that when the fire department was attempting to locate Floyd, the crew overheard and was told by several people that the police, quote, had killed the man. But yet, what we are hearing is, he obviously was unconscious, but the news is reporting that he passed away at the hospital. And more than likely what that is you have to have an actual MD pronounce death, time of death. Police are not allowed to pronounce the time of death. They're not allowed to code. Neither are EMTs. Okay? The report goes on to say that when the fire department was attempting to locate Floyd, the crew overheard and was told by several people that the police had killed the man. There was no clear info on Floyd or the location given by the initial police officer and bystanders. Isn't this interesting? There was no clear information on him, yet he was arrested. Or the location. So they didn't even want the fire department showing up. They didn't even give the clear location. They were en route. So basically, the fire department is stating that while they were en route, they had already heard that the police had killed the man. Wow. The fire crew finally located an officer inside the store who stated Hennepin County Medical Center medics had loaded Floyd and relocated him from the scene. Now, from what I've gathered, once the fire department gets there, they are supposed to conduct some communication with police officers. But no, this is stating that the fire crew actually had to go locate an officer inside the store. They also encountered an off-duty firefighter. Wow, check this out, okay? They encountered an off-duty firefighter who had witnessed the end of the struggle and witnessed that Floyd was struggling and then became unresponsive on the ground while handcuffed and subdued by police officers. We've got a firefighter that didn't do a... Are you kidding me? A firefighter witnessed this and did not do anything. No wonder the mayor was so absurd, and not absurd, but upset that nobody helped. Not only were there other police officers just standing there letting it happen, but we're talking about an off-duty firefighter. Off-duty or on-duty, I don't care. That's terrible. Dispatch then notified the fire crew that the medics needed assistance, and they responded to 36th and Park Avenue. 2 fire crew members got into the ambulance, and the medics had a chest compression device working on Floyd, who was unresponsive and pulseless. The fire crew members assisted medics and accompanied them to Hennepin Healthcare, where life-saving attempts were continued. The report states that medics performed pulse checks several times, finding none, and delivered 1 shock by their monitor. Does that sound right? Yeah, I'm not going to take this down, Melissa. Does that sound right? They only delivered 1 shock? Floyd was pronounced dead at Hennepin Healthcare. Hennepin Healthcare.
What are they called? What are we called? Old school. I'm at a loss for words right now because my son brought up a very. He opened a wound that I knew wasn't closed, but it really hurt that we lost my baby niece to in a violent way, gun violence. You know, and the cops don't care. She was a young 18-year-old Native woman. And I come from a long line of advocates. I come from a long line of warriors. I come from a long line of warrior women. And what's being done to the black race, there's a song that Eulalie sings, and there's words in that song that Eulalie states, and it's so true. And what they say in that song is the colonizers have taken stolen land, stolen people, and put them on stolen land. And that's what's happened. And they have been oppressing us since they came on the shore and my people taught them how to live. So side conversations are welcome, and certainly I ain't policing nobody. But the elder is on the mic. That's right. And you guys have honored a lot of speakers up here, so I just ask that you honor just a few more, and then we'll turn up with NWA's Fuck the Police. Okay? Yeah. But let the elder speak, because this is a native sister whose land has been stolen. This is a Bukanaga who has been generations and generations on white earth. And
That is true.
Give her a chance to talk. So would you guys do that? Y'all honor her with that? Okay, thank you. Thank you. What I was saying was, this has been going on for centuries, thousands of years for our people, you know. And like I said, I come from a long line of warriors. I come from a line of Ogichi-Dakwe, which means warrior women. I come from a long line of Ogichi-Da, which means warriors. That's right. And we've stood in Standing Rock. We've stood everywhere to sit up there. My relatives are all Easters. So we've been fighting this fight for a long, long time. And the police have not heard, the government has not heard. It is time that they listen and they hear what we are saying. Because not only do black lives matter, but all lives matter. Brown, red, yellow, white, we all matter. And if you don't think white people, it can't happen to you, it can. Because one day they're going to say, okay, it's not about being white or black. It's about how much money you have and about classism. And if you ain't in their class, you're not going to be any better than the people that are down below.
Isn't it George Carlin that said, if guess what? There's a club and we ain't in it. I did hear something about Soros being involved in this. And of course, that goes back to the political side and the money.
Is a form of community violence, right? So I want the people to know.
That's George Soros, by the way.
All forms of
They're probably cutting out on this and going back over to the FBI.
We stand against all that. We ain't got no room or time or space or energy for none of that. We just learned that we have some of George's family members here. And we've been waiting to hear from y'all. We've been looking and waiting because we want to make sure y'all condoning what it is that we're doing. Because we want to honor his life the way y'all want us to. And we're going to yield to y'all. I need y'all to know, we robbed, we're going to shut this bitch down. Come on.
I want that one.
This shit ain't real, man.
That first one.
This shit ain't real.
Please.
On everything. Real. My name's Martin. And this is my little brother. My name's Phil, man. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No peace. No justice.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. That's how we ride for. That was my uncle, man. I don't give a fuck. That man ain't deserve that type of shit. Don't no person deserves that.
Poor guy.
I ain't seeing this shit.
Wow, it's cutting out bad, isn't it? Can't even hear it. Look at that. That's not my computer, guys.
I'm sorry it took so long.
Yeah, you've got that right, Jay Stephanie. Yes, yes, yes.
For real. Tell them. Because it took for this shit to happen. For all of us to come together. This should have been happened. For real. So as far as everything is concerned, man, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. That's how we feeling. Love support. Love y'all. It's crazy they say that George Floyd.
I think so. I think you're right, Jerry.
That ain't his MO. My uncle had 2-3 jobs working constantly. Even during this coronavirus stuff. Even during this cover of coronavirus. My uncle worked 2 to 3 jobs. Never left out the crib if he ain't have $40, $50 in his pocket. Enough to make sure he's straight and the people whoever he riding with is good.
So the FBI should be coming back in about 10 more minutes, you all. If you can go ahead and share this stream on Twitter, YouTube, I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. What the FBI is going to say is going to be very, very important.
Like, for real, this is beautiful. What it took to this for my uncle to be slain, killed by these people that's supposed to protect the third block. These animals.
They treat their animals better than us.
You suffocated him. You suffocated him. He said, please. Please. Stop, I can't breathe. He's begging y'all. Hold up. Let me put something else on y'all.
Now, they will try to win by any means necessary. They won't win, though.
If he was resisting, hold on, my uncle, y'all see the picture of my uncle? He was like this. Yeah. You hear me? Way bigger than an officer. He was resisting. That officer wouldn't have been on him.
Remember in 2015, guys? Let me just remind you of this real quick. 2015. Who bought all those Walmarts? And then what happened? A bunch of those Walmarts that were purchased, what happened to them? They were closed. They were purchased and then they were closed. Some still stayed open. China. Okay? Now, I'm going to mute this real quick. The Walmarts that were closed, along with a bunch of Targets, okay? Now, as far as the Targets being purchased by China, I'm not sure on that. I don't want to say yay or nay. But a lot of the Walmarts that were purchased and then closed, guess what they have around them now, you guys? They have barbed wire. Barbed wire pointing inward. to keep people from leaving, not to keep people out of the property, but to keep people from leaving from inside, like a FEMA camp. Okay? Now, if you're not aware, there are FEMA camps located within the United States. You can actually pull them up on Google Earth, and you can also see the gas tanks. Don't take my word for it. Do the research and look it up. Okay? Yeah, remember that? They were closed due to plumbing issues. Some of them even have guard towers. All of them have speakers, large speakers at the top of the poles. Okay? I'm going to be uploading a video in a couple of days. Some footage that I found that's very, very important you all need to watch. This footage is from a few years back, from an insider that tells plans of the CCP. That's all I'm going to say. So make sure you keep an eye out for it, okay? I was wanting to show you all some footage. Let me see if it'll let me pull this up here. Honey, it's already cold. Oh, I thought I was muted. Sorry. Let me find what I want to show you all real quick before that starts. Where are you? Here we go. All right. Okay. I know you all can see my screen. I just need to know if you all can hear the audio. Okay. So let me press play. Could you hear that? Press 1. I hate the delay on StreamYard. I really do hate the delay. I typically like to have the YouTube chat up because it's more on cue. It seems like I ask for 1 and it takes forever. Yep. Jade Helm. Could you all hear that audio? Chat's froze. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you all hear me? Okay, I refreshed. If you could just type a 1 in the chat if you heard that audio, that would be awesome. If you all can hear me. I'm not sure what's up with the StreamYards. Yes, you heard. All right, so can hear. All right. Could you hear that? I just played it again. Oh, you can't hear that because I'm not sharing the screen. Duh. All right. You should be able to hear this.
So I want to start by acknowledging the horrific tragedy in Minnesota of George Floyd. The death of George Floyd is absolutely tragic. That video that we saw, that I saw, that my staff saw, that the president saw, and the president put out a statement last night that at his request, the FBI and the Department of Justice are already well into an investigation as to the very sad and tragic death in Minnesota of George Floyd. Asked for this investigation to be expedited and greatly appreciate all of the work done by law enforcement. My heart goes out to George's family and friends. Justice will be served. I can tell you that as I'm briefing you at this moment, the president is receiving a briefing from the Attorney General, Bill Barr, on this, and the Deputy Director of the FBI. So that is ongoing as I begin this briefing. Secondly, I want to transition into some news from SBA and Treasury that was announced that today the U.S. Small Business Administration, in consultation with the U.S. Treasury Department.
Okay, so that's all she said. I did want you all to hear that. So, all right. Yeah, the volume was a little low on that. That's something I can't help right now. But it was just a short clip. They haven't put that back on yet. Can you all hear this audio better? Let's see. Share my screen.
He told me how he marched with Dr. King because he believed in his mission. He invested his money and his power to change our people's conditions, and all I could think as I heard this man speak with conviction is, I don't have the right to do nothing. You see, Harry Belafonte sacrificed for people like me. So if he decided to do nothing, then where would I be? You see, if he was just content with a celebrity status, there wouldn't be an Until Freedom or Black Lives Matter. So I don't have the right to do nothing. You see, we stand on the shoulders of our elders. We got to continue their fight against this system that failed us. Mr. B tells us, he drills in our mind, you see, we got to carry this torch. You see, this is our time. Injustice is a crime, but it's about execution. And those directly impacted must be the solution. So I don't have the right to do nothing. You see, revolution is a part of evolution. And our forefathers weren't given no restitution. They were given destitution and treatment that's inhumane. So if we ain't part of the solution, how the hell we gonna complain? So I don't have the right to do nothing. I'm on a mission. I'm screaming until they listen. Dr. King died for freedom. I'm carrying on tradition. My people want justice. I'm carrying that petition. Police is out here killing us. We're going to need some more convictions. Peaceful and passive are not the same thing. Know the difference. You are not supposed to lay down and die with no resistance. So I don't have the right to do nothing. I don't have the right not to fight for my life. It's a gift from God. So with all of my might, I will protect my freedom, my family, my home. I know y'all gonna fight with me. Y'all ain't gonna leave me alone. So when my feet get weary, and it's hard for me to breathe, and I run out of breath, I think about how George Floyd died with a knee in his neck. And I say I don't have the right to do nothing. God bless y'all. Before I leave here, say Breonna Taylor's name, please. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. Before I leave here, I want you to understand we don't have the right to do nothing, brothers and sisters. That part. It is not our right to sit back and watch us get killed. It's okay to be safe. I'm not promoting violence, but intervene. Put your body in the way. Protect your brother. It's all right to protect yourself. We are not promoting violence, but we cannot sit by and continue to watch our brothers die and just take it.
Okay, looks like it's getting ready to start. Finally. Let's hope that the audio is better on their end this time. I'm going to just refresh the screen.
We'll be doing an impromptu organization. Not against revolution. You know the target that lost all of those things inside of it, I don't really care about that because the target's been on our back for 400 years. So that's the target I'm worried about. But at the end of the day, I want us to be organized. We have to be militant. We have to be as organized as the enemy is. So we're going to have this. We don't have the right to do nothing. God bless you. That brother said we do not have the right to do nothing. That means we got to do something.
I guess they're trying to switch their stream over. They're having issues because of the buffering. So that's why I keep refreshing it, because sometimes you have to do that in order to get it doesn't automatically switch over.
My white brothers and sisters, I know y'all here. I see y'all. I'm talking to y'all. If you continue to walk in and enjoy the white privilege that comes with the color of your skin and not stand up for us, you are complicit. I need y'all to hear me.
Wow.
We love you. We need y'all to stand up and step out. Stand up and step out.
Hey, Carrie Mae. Yes, sweetheart, it's very sad. Thank you, honey. Appreciate it. I don't know why that audio is so, or the screen is so bad.
Sister Leslie Reddy. The Madam President of the Northside NAACP. I met you at the 4th Precinct. She was still in college. She was in the graduate program, law school, one of my wife's students. And every single day.
Yes, he was.
Night. She was out there.
With intent.
When people started to leave, she was
I don't
out
care what
there
anybody
sitting around
says.
trying to talk to the people, listen to them, encourage them, asking them what they needed. And she's continued that. She's walking in her purpose, y'all. And we gotta
Yeah,
support
it did have
her. Like I
666
said,
on it, Karen.
without our women, we wouldn't be here.
Sure did.
Without further ado, y'all get ready to get the jewels, y'all.
Amen, Brother Marquis. Thank you so much. Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. I'm so sad that I have to come and talk to you all under these circumstances. Like Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Brother George Floyd should still be here today. Brother Marquis talked about 5 years ago, we were protesting at the 4th precinct for 18 days in the cold dead of the winter. Yesterday when I was out there, I didn't see looting. What I saw was uprising. I saw people. I saw people in pain. I saw young people sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to put something in perspective for you all. A lot of these young people have grown up their entire life with the internet and social media, watching black bodies drop like flies. When will enough be enough? Brother Marshawn just spoke to it. We got to stand up. We do not have the luxury of sitting down. Y'all know I like to say, don't complain, activate. Say with me, don't complain, activate. Don't complain, activate. Don't complain, activate. We must activate. Because today or tomorrow it could be you. It could be your son or your daughter. I want to shout out Chief Arredondo. Chief Arredondo is the first African American police chief that we've ever had here in Minneapolis. That's right. Chief Arredondo, when he in position, had the 4th precinct probably not happened, and we activated and told people. And I wouldn't need to my face because everybody know all our kinfolk ain't our kinfolk. But we need a conscious black person. Get into it. Let's get into it. That's not president. That's because of people like me and you fighting the good fight all the time. Not just when people are dying, but when people are crying, right? Mayan Burrell is serving a life sentence for a crime he didn't commit. Let's not act like we don't know that Black Lives Matter. Black lives matter. My life matters. Your life matters. We gotta keep fighting. Black brothers and sisters, we gotta educate and train them. I don't know when the last time somebody said a prayer was out here, but I feel like we need to pray. We're gonna fight Freeman where he lay his head at night, y'all. This is the man that has chosen time to kill a cop. And I know that God is the only thing that can turn this thing around.
Okay. So it looks like the medical examiner releases a report. Let's see what he says. That was quick, right? This says 1 day ago. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner released the report on George Floyd's death less than 24 hours after he died in Minneapolis police custody. He died Monday night after he was apprehended by Minneapolis police near East 38th Street and Chicago Avenue South, where officers were responding to a report of forgery. So we're getting conflicting reports yet again. This is saying forgery, and then we're also getting reports of a counterfeit $20 bill. Those are two different things, two different charges, okay? Still not worth a murder. Bystander video shows one of the officers pinning Floyd to the ground and pressing his knee into Floyd's neck as he repeats that he cannot breathe. Floyd eventually becomes unresponsive, but the officer continues to hold his knee to the man's neck for approximately 3 minutes, mind you, after he becomes unconscious, to the man's neck until an ambulance arrives. He still had his knee on the neck when the EMT got there and did not release until. I mean, the EMT walks up, checks his pulse while the officer still had his knee in his neck. The FBI and Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are investigating the incident. According to the medical examiner's report, George Perry Floyd, age 46, died at 9:25 p.m. on May 25th. His cause of death has not yet been determined, pending further testing and investigation by the medical examiner's office, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and the FBI. So, doesn't look like they have much information, but yet they have a PDF. I will look at that PDF, and if there's anything worth talking about, we'll talk about it later, okay? Wow. That was a waste of time. Let's go back and see if they're live streaming yet. I'm telling you what, after this is done, I am going to go lay down. I'm pretty stressed out, so. Alright.
I don't know about you, but
I'm going to refresh.
she's going through crisis.
I don't know where they're at.
All over the nation, all over the globe that are being.
Does anybody know what time it was when that FBI agent said that he would be back? Was it right at 5 o'clock Eastern time? So it's been about 45 minutes. He said 15 to 30 minutes. If you all heard different, let me know, because that's what I heard. Let's hit the watch live and see what it does.
And to free our brothers and sisters, Lord. Lord, hear our cries in the courtroom, Lord.
Still watching this.
Hear our cries in the education system, Lord. Hear our cries in the prison system, Lord. Hear our cries everywhere, Lord. Lord, our brothers and sisters are hurting right now. These young people don't know where they're going, or if they're coming, or if they're going. They don't know what they're doing, Lord. Touch the hearts of the business people that are more worried about property than people, Heavenly Father. Lord, help them turn their hearts over.
Thanks, Eddie. It's Hennepin. Hennepin. I got it. Appreciate that.
And Lord, you know, as they're going, they don't know what they're doing, Lord. Touch the hearts of the business people that are more worried about property than people, Heavenly Father. Lord, help them turn their hearts over. And Lord, if you can't turn their hearts over, help us to start flipping some tables like Jesus Christ. Help us to have the courage and the strength to stand up against the powers that be. That we not be more concerned with our political careers and the money that we receive than the people, Lord. Lord, make the way, Lord. Create the path, Lord. Open the Red Sea, Lord. We are here. Your people are ready, Lord. And if they're not ready, help them to get ready, Lord. Because I know that we are living in days where the last shall be first and the first shall be last. If we weren't, I wouldn't be here today, Lord. Lord, I know you for myself. I know that the ancestors are here with us and stand with us, that we are never by ourselves.
Christianity and those that are with us, we say Jesus was a revolutionary. Because he walked amongst the poor, fed the poor, and defended the poor. Now,
Thank you, Michelle.
You need to be able to defend your community.
It's good to see you, honey. Yes, it breaks my heart too. Appreciate you becoming a member, Michelle.
Everybody's home should be armed. Our uncles and our fathers at least had shotguns. They were hunters in Minnesota. They go hunt squirrels, rabbit, and everything else.
but they also had shotguns in their homes to protect their families. Those who feel they can license and get a gun or a rifle for your home. Somebody tried to break in on us about a month ago. You must be armed to protect your community because things are going to get worse. I hate to keep saying this, but it is. So please, if you get your license, go get a license. Go to the gun range. And for the women, they have Women's Day on Wednesday. So we go on Wednesday and practice. But please, get armed. 3/4 of America is armed. But we are not armed, but we are being killed. If people back up if you got something pointing at us. Okay? So please, the brother's going to do some training. I'm glad he's here from New York. Because a lot of people need to hear some of this. Because it hasn't been done since the 60s almost. So you need to get organized, know what to do to get arrested, how to fall on the ground when the police knock you over and drag you around. So please get with them. Yeah, and if you can't get a gun, a native sister, then get a bow. Or a machete. I got one of them. Okay. Give us a brother from New York so he can do some training with you because there's some tactics you need to know when you deal with the police to protect your body. Okay, so you need to learn some of these pieces. And like I said, please, if you get licensed, get on. Thank you. Mama has spoken. She's speaking the truth. She's been around since the 50s and 60s, y'all. She done seen all of this. She done walked through all of this, and it's a damn shame that she has to continue to be out here standing up and fighting. Mama Rose, we love you. And it's our job to do our damn job so that our children don't have to be here standing up for you. Can't fight. My grandpa had to do this fight. My father had to fight this fight. My daddy had to do it. I don't have a choice, my brother. I don't have a choice not to do that. I don't. You right. I have to be out here. I'd much rather be at home holding my 2.5-year-old who is a ball of joy. I love my family. I love my community, which is my family. And that's why we out here. This is love that's out here, not hate. Right. This is love. Yeah. We beat this thing down with love. Yeah. And love is in. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. Love is in. That's how I was raised. The women in my family, the children, my job to protect them, to love them, to provide for them. I'm with you, my brother. If I'm ever in that position, I don't want to still be there.
All right, they're getting ready to start. I hear the mics.
I need you to knock them off of me. I need you to put your life on the line for me. Because all of us right now are putting our life on the line. We have been blessed. We got another sister here. Mallory, here from New York. Tanika Mallory.
Here we go. Finally, you guys. Man, that wind is bad. They start here in just a few minutes. Even though we've been waiting almost an hour or so. But yeah, the FBI agent is getting ready to come out. They must have got a heads up to turn the cameras back on. I agree, my Four Seasons. I agree. Appreciate it, AM. Just want to say thanks to everybody that's stuck with me and have been chatting with me here. Listen to me gripe. Listen to me get upset. Listen to the audio go in and out. Gotta love it. Gotta love StreamYard. And most of all, just, sitting here with me and just being here. It really, really means a lot to me, you guys. I used to go live quite often, and I don't anymore. I miss it. But I'm very picky about what I do go live about anymore. So maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Alright, looks like they're getting ready to start. Again, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Not all of it, maybe a little bit further back, a little more distant. Oh, that's right. Right. You got to do the wingspan, right? First and foremost, I apologize profusely for the wait that you all had to have. We thought we would have another development that I could tell you about.
What did I say?
I don't at this point, but I am here to talk to you about the federal investigation. County Attorney Mr. Freeman, standing to my right, is here to talk to you about the state investigation. With me is Reiner Goldhagen. He is the special agent in charge of Minneapolis FBI. He too will talk about the federal investigation, and Superintendent Drew Evans from DCA will also make a few comments before we open it up for question and answer. My name is Erica McDonald. I'm the United States Attorney here for the District of Minnesota. On May 25th of 2020, George Floyd was arrested and detained by Minneapolis police officers. I'm here to talk about and make sure the community and the media is aware that we are conducting a robust and meticulous investigation into the circumstances surrounding the events of May 25th, 2020, and the police officers' actions on that evening. Really probably don't need this to say this to all of you, but Minneapolis, our nation, really the world, has witnessed this incredibly and disturbing loss of life. My heart goes out to George Floyd. My heart goes out to his family. My heart goes out to his friends. And my heart goes out to the community. We are grieving, and we will continue to grieve. To be clear, the Department of Justice has made the investigation in this case a top priority. We have assigned highest to the high in my office to investigate and look at the case. FBI likewise has assigned their experienced law enforcement officers to conduct the investigation. And to be clear, President Trump, as well as Attorney General
Attorney General William Barr are directly and actively monitoring the investigation in this case. I have had direct communications with Attorney General Barr and his staff and will continue to do so. The federal investigation in this case will determine whether the actions the former Minneapolis police officers took violated any federal criminal laws, to include any civil rights violations. Federal civil rights criminal cases have categories, and one is called under color of law. In other words, if an officer, whether it be federal, state, local, or tribal, is acting under their authority and asserts or invokes the power bestowed upon them to deprive any person of any right or privilege protected by the Constitution or the laws of the United States. That is a violation of federal criminal law. It must be proven that the subject took action or did not take action when he or she knew that was wrong and chose to do it anyway. As with all matters, the investigation in this case will be comprehensive and will be conducted with the highest integrity as the community would expect. For those that aren't aware of my background, prior to being the United States Attorney for the District of Minnesota, I was a judge in Dakota County for over 8+ years. Having sat on that side of the bench and having presided over a multitude of trials, I can tell you, I can tell the community, I can tell everybody interested that it is critical, it is essential, it is imperative that the investigation is done right and done right the first time. And that is what we are going to do.
I'm not joking.
This has been a rapidly evolving situation. We first learned of it in the early morning hours of Tuesday. The FBI reached out directly to me, and we have been working on this case nonstop since we were notified. We understand the severity of the situation unfolding. It breaks my heart to see what is going on in our streets in Minneapolis and in St. Paul and in some of our suburbs. And I am pleading with individuals to remain calm and to let us conduct this investigation. Give it just a minute before I blow over. We share with the FBI and we share with our state partners who are conducting parallel but independent investigations, so that is clear. We have two different investigations and conclusions and recommendations that will come from those to each of our respective offices. But we share an unwavering commitment to see that this investigation is done right, that it's done forthwith, that we act with dispatch, and that we live up to the standards the community demands. Our highest priority is that justice will be served. With that, I am going to close my comments and turn it over to Special Agent in Charge, Reiner Drolshagen from the FBI.
Thank you, Erica. Good afternoon. My name is Reiner Drolshagen. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of the Minneapolis Field Office. Echoing U.S. Attorney's comments, I'd like to say I express my complete condolences to the Floyd family. I'd also like to express my sympathy to the citizens of Minnesota, as there is extreme frustration, anger, and sadness. I also want to thank Chief Arredondo of Minneapolis Police Department. He reached out to me in the middle of the night and requested our assistance. His call enabled me to immediately reach out to the U.S. Attorney's Office to enlist their assistance. And as such, we were able to open an investigation in a matter of a few hours after the incident. Our role in this investigation is to investigate allegations of willful violations of federal civil rights. The FBI team is following the path where the facts will lead us. We are conducting a swift, yet meticulous investigation. In less than 72 hours, much work has been done, but I assure you there is much more to be accomplished. I want to ensure that you understand we respond to cases like these as quickly as possible. We will follow the case to conclusion in partnership with our state partner, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Surely he's in custody,
The
guys.
FBI
Come
is a
on.
fact-gathering agency. We collect facts, and we need your help. We're asking everyone that was present before, during, and after the incident to come forward to help us build the best picture of what occurred. Each little piece of the puzzle helps us complete the big picture. If you have any information, or if you have any videos, or you know of anyone who can help us with this, I encourage you to ask them to contact 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, I'm encouraging you to reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. No tip is too small. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Freeman, Hennepin County Attorney. We are the principal prosecuting agency for the state and the criminal side. Initially, I want to say that my thoughts and those of my office continue to be with the family and the friends of George Floyd. They know they are hurting over this senseless death. The manager of our Victim Services Division has been in touch with George Floyd's family on several occasions and is keeping them updated on what is happening in this case. They are aware that the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, better known as the BCA, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner, and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office are moving as quickly and thoroughly as possible. I've also been in direct consultations with Governor Tim Walz, with Attorney General Keith Ellison, and others in the state, the city, and the county to discussions on this case. As many of you know, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office is one of very few prosecution offices in the United States who have successfully charged and convicted and obtained a guilty verdict against a police officer for unreasonable use of deadly force. We have developed a detailed plan for that prosecution, and with the BCA, a detailed plan for investigation. Our office has been flooded with calls, many as 1,000 a day, as well as email and social media from people in this jurisdiction, in this state, and throughout the country. The main question is, what are you going to do about the murder of George Floyd? Well, I've just described what we're going to do. We are going to investigate it as expeditiously, as thoroughly, and completely as justice demands. Sometimes that takes a little time, and we ask people to be patient. We have to do this right, and that's what we'll do. I also want to tell you that our office has led the nation in openness on these types of cases. When we decide to charge an officer, we put the criminal complaint on our website. If we decide that the evidence does not support a criminal charge, we put our report and all our evidence on the website for all to see. When we make the decision in this case, we will do the same. What I can assure the citizens of Minnesota, we will do it as quickly as we can do it as possible. We'll do it as quickly as possible. I think Drew Evans from the BCA is next. Drew?
Thank you, County Attorney Freeman. My name is Drew Evans. I am the Superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. First, I'd like to share with my colleagues here in expressing my deepest thoughts and sympathies to the family of George Floyd, the heartbreak that they're going through in the community as a whole. This is a difficult time for our entire community as they mourn his death. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension began this investigation immediately after this incident occurred when we were contacted by the Minneapolis Police Department. Agents were deployed, including our crime scene, immediately began gathering evidence, talking to witnesses, and then working immediately with the county attorney's office, discussing our findings and what we had at that time. Next, over the night, as was indicated, the FBI was contacted. I spoke with Chief Arredondo. He informed me he was contacting them, and that was a contact we all welcome in this process. We're working very collaboratively together through this process. Our agents are working closely together. We've deployed numerous resources. We brought in agents from all over the state, recognizing the importance of an expeditious, quick investigation that is still thorough, independent, and unbiased by all of our organizations. Those findings will be turned over to the county attorney on the state side and on the federal side, as noted, to the United States Attorney's Office. The same thing we share as the FBI did. We want any citizen, anybody who was there that witnessed this event, that has information.
Oh,
that
my
would be
4
helpful to
seasons,
our
I'm wanted, honey.
investigation, to either call the FBI tips line or 651-793-7000, which is the BCA Operations Center. My perspective is we want citizens to go wherever they are most comfortable, whichever line they are, so that we get all of the information in this case so we can conduct the most thorough investigation possible. And with that, I think we'll turn it over to the U.S. Attorney and County Attorney.
We're not dealing with just one police officer that's corrupt. We're dealing with
And
4
so,
or more,
at this point,
guys.
we're going to open it up for questions. I can tell you, I'll start by saying we've got questions too, and we're getting answers to those. We're doing our best. We're digging in. But we do, and I want to echo what my law enforcement partner said, we need the community's help. There were folks there on the scene, not folks that we couldn't identify necessarily at the time. We need to know who they are. Come forward. If you have a video, please share it. We want to do, as quickly as we can, a thorough investigation to get answers to those questions. And I know that I saw the first hand going up. It was in front of me, ma'am. You had a question?
Hey, Holly.
My hope is that getting it out through you, that the community will understand that we are taking this seriously, that we're working as quickly as possible, so the community understands we don't announce investigations typically. As you, the media, knows, it's unusual for us to come forward and tell you about an investigation. As the United States Attorney, we're counseled that we are not to talk about that until the time of the conviction, typically, or in some cases, perhaps charges. It's really imperative that the community understands how seriously we're taking this and how quickly and swiftly we are moving on this. And so my hope with that is that people will understand peaceful protests are always acceptable. That is the cornerstone of our justice system, is that people have the right to say how they feel and to talk about their feelings and to protest peacefully, but the obstruction and the destruction of property and harm to individuals has got to stop. We are one Minnesota. We're at our best, we're at our worst, and we've got to come together and stop the needless and unnecessary destruction of property and harm to human life.
Mike,
Sir.
can you address that? Mike, can
You may.
address that?
Yes. This state is well known and has a strong reputation for firm and thorough First Amendment advocacy. We support peaceful demonstrations. I had a long talk today with Reverend Jesse Jackson, who came at the request of Attorney General Keith Ellison and the governor, and I believe Reverend Jackson will be speaking and asking for peaceful protests today. Peaceful protest is good. It advocates our rights, and it also calls forth the witnesses that the United States Attorney wants us to come forward. Violence is not. Violence hampers our case. It takes valuable police resources away from our investigation.
He did not just say that. Are you kidding
Who
me?
had nothing to do with that.
Violence
It gets in the way
started
of
the
our work.
violence.
So we're asking, please, Please say what you need to say.
I'm not
Demonstrate how
saying
you
two
need
wrongs make a
to
right.
do. That is in our Constitution, and all of us believe in that. But please, don't destroy
You're
an
listening to
innocent
federal and
person's
state
property.
prosecutors and investigators. We thought we might hear about charges in the death of George Floyd, but not today. This was just an update on the process. There's another news conference going on right now that we want to take you to. Melvin Carter, mayor of St. Paul, and the police chief there addressing some of the looting and the violence that's been going on in the streets of St. Paul. I think we're ready to go
figure
there.
out how to keep this from ever happening again. We've heard from the Floyd family who have called for peace during this time. And unfortunately, we also have individuals in our community who are taking the microphone, who are taking the attention, who are taking the focus off of those peaceful
Does that not look
protesters
like a hearse
who
in
are
the background?
frustrated, who are enraged, who desperately desire for something to change. And instead choosing it as a moment to break the law, choosing it as a moment to incite for something else in our city. That's unfortunate, it's unacceptable, and it cannot continue. None of this can continue. I have spoken to the governor and lieutenant governor today.
That's the chief of police.
And Chief Axtell and I have requested the support of the National Guard as our St. Paul Police Department works to protect the right of our residents and of our community to peacefully protest while ensuring that we are maintaining the health, the basic health and safety in our community that all of our residents ought to be able to rely on. I will ask Chief Axtell to come and give us further details on that work
that's the
and how
mayor.
that's playing
Sorry.
out, and then we will stand for any questions. Chief Axtell.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being here today. It's a very trying time in the city of St. Paul, in the St. Paul Police Department, and for police departments throughout the country who are really reeling from a tragic incident, the tragic loss of Mr. Floyd, who lost his life, whose family will be impacted forever, and the impact this has on our community at large. Our heart goes out to the family. We know there's a lot of anger. We know there's a lot of hurt. We understand that. However, what we can't tolerate are people who are using this as an opportunity, who are tearing down the name of Mr. Floyd for opportunity to commit crimes in our cities. Today,
but it's
as
okay
I speak
for the
right
police
now, we are
to commit
actively
crimes.
Being looted in the Midway area.
What they expect.
Groups of young people are trying to penetrate our stores throughout this city. We've requested mutual aid from various law enforcement agencies, and we won't tolerate people being injured in this city. We're not going to tolerate for our buildings being burned down. We are going to hold offenders accountable, whether that's today or down the road in the future. I want that to be clear. You may think,
do y'all remember
that you got away
Ferguson,
with something today,
Missouri?
But we have a lot of cameras out there, and I guarantee you we will take
back in 2016
the law to the full extent to make sure that you are held to account for the crimes that you commit in this city. Again, we support and acknowledge the First Amendment and the right to peacefully protest, but we're not going to allow our officers to take rocks, bottles, bricks, commercial grade fireworks rounds, putting those that are there to protect us and to protect our businesses and to protect our community, put their lives in danger. We can't tolerate that. Our officers are out there today working exhaustingly under conditions that I haven't observed in my entire 32-year career. I've been through a lot as a police officer in the city and throughout the state. I have not observed this level of looting in my entire career. Our officers are doing an incredible job today, again, under very challenging circumstances. They're taking those rocks, they're taking the bricks. We are dispersing some gas, some less lethal munitions, some mace canisters, because again, we have to send a strong message. If you decide that
Less
you're going to take
lethal.
that brick and launch it at an officer, you're not going to do that without some type of consequence. So we're going to
And
continue to
your
do that.
officer stuck
We're
his
going to hold
knee
people to account.
in the back
And
of
I'm just
someone's
asking,
neck and choked
especially this
them
goes
to
out to our
death.
parents of young adults and teenagers. I want you to ask yourself
This
right
is
now, where are your
political,
children?
guys.
Where
It's
are
election
your
year.
teenagers and
Wake
your young
up.
adult children? Please make sure they're not engaging in these activities, because the consequence will have a lifelong impact and someone's going to get hurt. So thank you very much for the opportunity
This
to
is
talk
to
to you
cause
today.
distraction
And I believe
and
that there are
deflection, you
better
all.
days ahead in St. Paul.
Pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes. We cannot let this right here distract us. Something's going on. Keep your eyes and ears open, you all. So which is it? 6 feet apart or a mask?
That's a very valid
Both?
concern. My heart goes out to our business community
Outside?
today, in addition to all the other people I mentioned earlier. Our officers are out there doing the very best they possibly can. There are a lot of smaller to mid-sized groups of people who are moving about the city. They're traveling around. They're taking their license plates off their vehicles to try to go undetected. They're moving around 10, 15, 20 vehicles and in groups of people up and down University Avenue. So again, our officers are dealing with some uncharted territory, and they're doing an incredible job with what they have right now to deal with this. And backup's coming. We have.
That's what I would recommend. Backup.
Is rolling into
and the whole department go on leave, and another police department come
continue
in.
To bring this under control.
Because your police department is corrupt.
What's the plan for you tonight? I mean, you've seen what's happened in Minneapolis the last, especially last night.
The plan tonight is that we're not going to go anywhere. We're calling in extra staff.
I don't agree with looting
our
either.
Deployment schedule to make sure that we maximize the officers that we have in this city. You know, I was talking earlier about when situations like this come up from throughout the country. In normal circumstances, you'll see these situations pop up in really major cities. And you look at the scope of a city, our population, with the number of officers we have and the number of officers Minneapolis has, and compared to the city population, we simply don't have 10,000 officers like LA does, or 35,000 officers like New York does. So we have to really rely on each other and come together as a region, as a metro region, with the state patrol, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Ramsey, Hennepin County, Dakota County, Washington County, Anoka County, all of our partners throughout the entire region, including the National Guard, who are community members from the state of Minnesota, to come in and help us make sure that we continue to bring safety to people who are in this city, whether they live here, they're coming here to visit people, or people who are just driving through our city streets. We owe a sense of safety to anybody who's in this city. Thank you.
Okay, so my bad. This is St. Paul.
Okay, we've been listening
Police
to
Department.
You've been listening to the police chief in St. Paul. That's Todd Axtell, and next to him is Mayor Melvin Carter addressing some of the looting and violence that's been going on.
So it was Minneapolis Police Department who committed the murder. The 4 officers in Minneapolis Police Department. MPD. This is the chief of police of St. Paul. So my bad on my comments. I retract those comments. But from what I've gathered, St. Paul is corrupt as well, you all. Do your research, okay? They're very close-knit. We need to pay attention to everything that's happening behind the scenes. Keep your eyes and ears open, especially on the political side. You guys, every time there's an election year, something big happens. Okay? Let's see what Karen's saying. He told the police to take his leg off of Chris. That What? Your terminally ill grandson at 13 had a rage due to his disease. When the police came, he sweared at them. They took him to the floor and put their knees on his chest, and I begged them to stop when the EMT came. He told the police to take his leg off of Chris, that he could kill him by suffocating him. Police got mad as the EMT told him to get off of him, so the policeman looked and gave him a dirty look. And walked out of the door. The EMT was a new guy, and when he went to the hospital, my grandson went to the EMT and told the nurses that he couldn't believe that the police... Oh, God. What the police did. Oh my God, Karen, I am so sorry. You guys, there's so much more evil than good in the world. But guess who wins in the end? Good trumps evil in the end. We have to keep that in mind, you all. For the gate is very narrow, but we do win in the end. Okay? Karen, my heart goes out to you. I'll say some extra prayers for you and your family. That is beyond disgusting and vile. Is he okay? You're in Washington State. Good trumps evil. That's what I said, right? Is that what I said? I'm tired. I haven't had any sleep, you all. That's what I meant to say. So, I hope I said that right. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish playing this.
In the city throughout the day, and
about a total of 50 buildings damaged in that violence last night. I think we have an aerial shot here again that we can show you of what we're monitoring in Minneapolis, perhaps. This is a building that is actually burned down, and this is the remnants of that. Again, close to 50 fires or buildings damaged overnight in Minneapolis. Stay with us. We'll be right back with our continuing coverage.
Karen, is your grandson okay, honey? Tim, how did you lose $1,600? Oh, wow. Oh, God love ya, honey. Hey, Johnny. My son is graduating this year from high school. He is going to school for criminal justice. That's awesome. He wants to be an officer. He saw the video and was BS that the other officers didn't stop him. And that's exactly what the mayor said. The mayor made the statement that somebody should have helped. Our Second Amendment, you guys, protects us, as we have the right to bear arms against a tyrannical government, whether it be law enforcement or actual government, okay? Army, what have you. The Army's typically on our side, but you also have this military police that try to trump, okay, and try to be so ugly and big and tall and wear all this armor. Okay, guys? Washington, D.C., before the inauguration, you had police officers, you had protests, but you had basically people gathering, okay? Peaceful. Nothing was going on. Yet you had cops in a row, in a large line, stomping, marching, counting down unprovoked. They started counting down. Then guess what they did? They started pepper spraying people, whoever was near them. It didn't matter if you were a journalist. It didn't matter if they seen your press pass. It didn't matter if you were in the middle of the street. You got grabbed and was told to move. Your feet would almost get hit by batons if you were not on the sidewalk. Okay? Unprovoked. Awful. Yeah, my Four Seasons. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. It's, if I get any updates, any breaking news, I will try to go live again. Make sure you hit the bell, the notifications. If you're not a member, please try to be one if you can. If not, that's fine too. You know, I don't ask for anything. I like to help other people with my YouTube earnings, you all. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Prayers for everyone. Pray for George Floyd's family. Okay? I love you all. Thanks so much for being here. God bless.